What's up, everybody? This is DaPHAB Sports Talk, brought to you by Kobe Vision. I told you I got something new for you. Conversations with Kobe will be back on Wednesday, but to Mondays is Sports Talk Mondays with DaPHAB. And he's going to bring you some beautiful stuff. Now, don't forget, you can check out for any of your fabrication, your screen printing, or your t-shirt or clothing needs with DaPHAB. Now we're going to bring you DaPHAB Sports Talk with my brother and my main man, Miguel Perez. What's going on, brother?
What's up, brother Cole? What's up? Always giving it up to you. How you doing today, brother?
Oh, man, it's beautiful. I'm sitting here taking it easy. Working, being a dad, traveling back and forth. You see, I ain't even had time to get a shave, man.
Hey, listen, I'm with you on that one, man. Embracing the grind here. Been up all day, working, getting stuff done for an upcoming event. Just kind of staying in the mix. A lot of stuff going on here. So yeah, but you know, always having time to work and have my recreational time to catch up with the weekly sports stories. So
I hear that. You got a great 4th of July?
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. Man. It wasn't too bad. I was able to spend time with my softball team, so it's sports related, right? Me, the guys, we went out to the park. We had a barbecue. We had a good time, you know. So we were able to have a good time. I was able to make some business connections even while at the meeting. So while at the park, so it's a softball event, but you know, business occurs at all times. So you know, I'm on the clock 24/7, 365.
I hear that. I know that's right. So what's been going on? Let's talk about what's been going on in the week. What's the biggest headline for this week?
Well, there's quite a few headlines. First, I want to pay my homage to Marv Albert. 55 years in the sports broadcast. He finally, he dropped the mic, so to speak, right? His last game was Eastern Conference Finals. So, as he, retires, he basically passes the baton on to us, right? And that allows us to have a forum to do what it is that you're doing, whether it's on Monday nights for sports, Wednesdays conversations with Kobe. So, as one sports legend retires, maybe the next sports legends are being made right now.
Yeah, and he has an iconic voice. Marv Albert when you hear it.
Yeah, he's called a lot of great games, and he's been around. He's like I say, he's a Hall of Famer. So you do it as long as he has. You got to tip your hat to him and say, good job,
And thank you. Because his voice is the soundtrack to our sports memory.
Yeah, true.
True. So what else is going on? What else is jumping off? Talk to me.
Well, there's two major headlines. I mean, there's quite a few things that happened in the last week, but the two major headlines, I think, obviously, I just used that reference, Marv Albert, passing the baton on to us. So I think one of the major sports stories, you like how I did that there, right?
Yeah.
No pun intended, actually intended. But Sha'Carri Richardson, huge headlines last week. Leading up to the Olympic trials, it was the hashtag remember her name. She was strong. She was cocky, confident. She had the hair. She had the long fingernails. She blows away the competition, only to find out that a week later that she tested positive for THC marijuana in her Olympic trial urine sample. And she has since then been kicked out of the Olympics or is serving a 30-day suspension that she ended up taking. So a lot of things that come out of that story. I mean, number one, she had just lost her mother. So I think there's a part of us, we have to be human. We should be compassionate. I think there's a lot of people from what I'm gathering in the social world, they're very divided. But me being a father of a 21-year-old, having been 21 once before, I know the decisions that I made at 21 aren't necessarily the decisions I would make now at 49. So sometimes we make some decisions, but we have to be able to take, with decisions comes consequences, right? So her action was she smoked weed, she failed the drug test. The consequences, she gets suspended for 30 days. And she had to do a counseling session, and she's in like a rehab program basically for the 30 days. And then she'll be able to come back in 30 days and hopefully be reinstated to Team USA. And she'll miss the 100 meters, so she won't be an Olympic champion in the 100 meters. But if selected, she still can come back and compete in the 4x1 women's relay team. So,
here's the super dope thing about this. She handled it like a G. She said, listen, I did it. I accept my responsibility. Let's keep it pushing, right? A lot of people are divided because she understands, like most of us who play sports, understands, especially at a collegiate or high level, understands regardless if we like the rules, we agree with the rules are the rules.
Right.
And I don't like it. I'm an advocate that they get rid of marijuana from the ban with a drug list. Or
right. But that actually just got input in 2021. So it's a new marijuana as a substance abuse or substance positive testing was just put in like January, February of this year. So getting rid of it so quickly, would be very difficult. Understand that while marijuana is being decriminalized and legalized in a lot of states, in the United States, the Olympics is an international competition. So how marijuana is, legally accepted in other countries around the world, it's for a whole nother topic. But she failed in Oregon, which I believe it's a legalized state.
Was that USADA or WADA? USADA is the United States Anti-Doping Agency. WADA is the World Anti-Doping Agency. Which agency
it's WADA. WADA was the one that she failed. Yeah.
And like that's the thing that sometimes we got to understand, whether the world or USA. But the whole thing about this is, I think it's foolishness, because if she was running that fast, smoking weed, how fast she gonna run not smoking?
Right, exactly. Right? She smoked the competition, right?
Yeah, and I also feel like she understands. She also said, "Listen, I apologize to everybody I let down. I cannot be your Olympic champion, but I will be your world champion." Like, that's the kind of swagger that I love. Right. And what I feel like is everybody trying to pick and choose a side. What we should do right now is support this woman and who she is and this queen, for her to keep going, because I know she'll be stronger from all of this. Regardless if you like the rule, don't like the rule, agree with it, don't agree with it. There's a lot of things I don't agree with, but I try not to do it so I don't have to deal with the BS that comes with it. Right. Like I think at a stop sign, right? It's a victimless crime what she did. Right? It's a victimless crime. It didn't hurt nobody but her. Right? Think about middle of the night, it's a red light. If I run it and there's no traffic, should I get a ticket? It's a rule. So if a cop sees me, I get a ticket. Right? No matter who's coming. Huh?
If the lights catch you. In Philadelphia, they got lights everywhere now.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter if there's traffic or no traffic.
Right, exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
And I hate it. It's uncomfortable, but it is what it is. But I still support her. I think she handled it like a G. I really gained more respect for her.
I mean, she handled it like a champion. The hashtag was "I am human," right? She came out and said, "I'm human." She made a mistake. So, and before we move on to another topic, one thing about grieving, everyone grieves differently. You know what I mean? Yeah. So you can't. There's no time to grieving. I got chills saying that because I have a memorial of my brother 3 feet to the right of me. So everyone grieves differently. So, we do have to allow this young lady opportunity to grieve the loss of her mother, and move on with the rest of her life. And she is 21 years old and she'll recover. I will say this though, while she was the favorite, I did, I see some people, she would have won. I never disrespect the competition. Just because you're the favorite doesn't mean you're going to win. The best athlete doesn't always win. The best team doesn't always win. And 4 years is a long time for another Olympics. So I think that if she is allowed to run, because I did see some people out there, I got some opinions of, she shouldn't go if she's asked. The Olympics is basically almost a once in a lifetime opportunity. So a lot of things can happen in the next 4 years. If she has the opportunity, I think she should run in the 4x1.
Yes. And I'm going to say this and move on. All the people who are on one side or the other, this is the thing. And even the person that said or whoever said that she shouldn't run, she has worked all her life. And people don't understand the sacrifices that she makes for this every 4-year opportunity.
Right.
If she gets the chance and made a misstep, she didn't even do anything to harm anyone.
Right.
She didn't even, what she did wasn't a drug that made her better. It was a drug that made her worse. So if she gets the opportunity, I think she should rock out. So we're going to move on. So talk to me. What we got next?
Well, let's go into the Eastern Conference Finals. Let's talk a little NBA for a few minutes. Milwaukee, the Eastern Conference Final. Milwaukee was able to eliminate the Atlanta Hawks. And listen, we got to give got to throw some flowers to Trae Young and the Atlanta Hawks. I mean, they did an amazing thing, beating a healthy New York Knicks team, knocking out the Eastern Conference #1 seed Philadelphia 76ers, and then going 6 games, against Milwaukee Bucks. And, between Milwaukee, Brooklyn, Philly, 1, 2, or 3 seeds didn't really matter to me. I think that any one of those 3 teams were going to come out of the East. I thought they were fairly balanced. Brooklyn was a little hurt. But, Milwaukee is solid. So, I mean, so for Atlanta's perspective, and the thing is, you have to cash in when you can cash in sports, because as you go into next season, for Atlanta's story, guess what? They're not going to be considered a favorite to get to the Eastern Conference Finals, because Philly, Brooklyn, Boston, Miami, and of course, Milwaukee are still in the conference. So Atlanta, while they had a nice run, they still need to improve a lot of areas. But, enough with Atlanta. Milwaukee did win the series. Giannis Antetokounmpo, I always mess up his name. So the Greek freak, he's out with an injury right now. So his teammates had to step up. Drew Holiday, the Sixers gave him away for a pick that turned out to be Nerlens Noel, which is I think a bad move. But Drew Holiday.
Well, let's look and see. Look at the evidence
in Game 6. Brook Lopez in Game 5. When the series was tied up, Brook Lopez dropped, I believe it was 33 points and like 7-8 boards, so they can take the lead at 3-2 and then close out the series in 6. So
the weird thing is, Brook Lopez can give you that. He might not give you that on a consistent basis, but he can give you that. And when he's not the focus or the center point of the offense, and he's the 3rd option or 4th option, man, heck yeah, look who Brook Lopez was. Right. And now he's not taking as much beating on his body, not as much time on the court, and he's the 3rd or 4th option. He can give you 30 if he has the opportunity.
Right. And the team looks very good without Giannis. Without Giannis on the court, they're spread out the floor. They get some shooters out there. They look good. And Chris Middleton, he had a fabulous series as well. I mean, he won a game or 2 in there. And even in the closing game, he ended up scoring, I think, 33 points. So you got to give him his credit as well. And, Milwaukee, I think, they won. They advanced. Not sure how they're going to do. We'll do an NBA prediction. I think I gave it away a little bit last week, but we'll come back to it again. We'll revisit. But Milwaukee will represent the Eastern Conference Finals, the Eastern Conference in the NBA Championship. We're going to wish them luck. And hopefully Giannis is healthy. They're going to have a tough battle with him. Without him, it'd be pretty tough, because he's still 30 points, 30 and 10, So.
And he make the way their team is set up, everybody allows a Giannis to be better, because you got to defend Brook. You got to defend Chris Middleton. You got Drew Holiday running the floor. Like, that opens up the floor, that cleans out some of the middle for Giannis, and then gives him some support on rebounding. So I kind of like that. But if he's not in the game, it makes it tougher on some of the other players to do what they do also. Exactly. So we'll see. So what's up with the Western Conference, man?
Well, the Western Conference, congratulations to the Phoenix Suns. The NBA has just been riddled by injury. I mean, the LA Clippers get to the Eastern Conference Finals, and they don't have Kawhi Leonard for a few of those games in there. But injuries are part of sports. Injuries are part of sports. You can't avoid them, right? When they happen, you still have next man up mentality, right? And Chris Paul, Phoenix Suns, they had to start the series without Chris Paul because he was a COVID-19 protocol for 2 games. And you got to give it to Chris Paul. He could have went. He did try to go to the Lakers quite a few years ago, and that trade was blocked. And he blew a 3-1 lead once in the playoffs. He lost the Game 7 when he was at Houston once. But now he had the opportunity. When he's up 3-1, I said, man, do not let this series go to 7 games, because once again, in the 7th game, the best team doesn't necessarily win. So when they lost Game 5 and the series got 3-2, I said, all right, CP3, you got to do your thing. And he balled out. He played 35 minutes. I mean, he's an older player. He played 35 minutes. He scores 41 points. He scores from all over. He balled out. I hate to mention Patrick Beverly, because he gets credit for being such a great defensive player, but he gets torched all the time. And then, at the very end, CP3 walks by him. He gets shoved. But, he takes it off like it's no big deal. Pat Beverly says, I didn't mean to push you. So if you didn't mean to push me, who did you mean to push? But
Exactly. Come on, man.
That's Pat Beverly. We don't talk too much about him. But CP3, he did his thing. He was able to take his team to the NBA championship.
Well, he's the ultimate floor general, man. I think he's like one of the best pure point guards ever. And like the second game, I believe it was when he came back from the COVID protocol. I forgot, second or third game. I think he was a little rusty. So him coming in a little rusty was some of that when they won. I think game two or three. I can't remember. And once he got rolling, he got his legs under him. That was it. He shut him down.
Yeah. He's so on to the NBA predictions. So we got East versus West. Last week, I said Phoenix would win. Whether it was Atlanta or Milwaukee, I'm going to stick with that prediction. I'm going to stick with Phoenix winning the NBA championship. I think it goes 6 games at best. It could be a gentleman's sweep, 4-1 Phoenix, too athletic, runs the floor, shoot the ball well. Just guys like Mikal Bridges who could just fills in. He's not even one of the main guys, but he's a Villanova grad, so we want to give him a little props today. I
do think they got a faster team, more athletic. The one thing I would like to say, because Charles Barkley gets on my nerves, is he couldn't win the championship in Phoenix.
Oh,
go CP3.
I know. Yeah. And he guaranteed it, which is like this one the omen on him. He did that to the 76ers.
Oh yeah, he guaranteed. He always messes it up.
And the Sixers kept losing every game.
Yeah. So this is all you. You.
I guess after the NBA Finals, we have a lot going on with MLB. MLB has a lot of stuff going on. MLB All-Star Game, was in Atlanta originally, was moved to Colorado because of the voter suppression. So now that the game's in Colorado, I think it's played next week. The starters are in and the reserves. So, I'm a baseball guy. My man in American League got Salvador Perez as a starting catcher. He missed the season a few years ago with a torn ACL, came back. Totally great player, defense, just a general, probably building a Hall of Fame career too in the process. Vlad Guerrero Jr., who last week I said he was leading the AL and as an MVP candidate, but I think I have another candidate that we're going to have to throw in the mix right now. I may have forgotten about him, but he is a total cannon. Xander Bogaerts, shortstop for the Boston Red Sox. I don't think he gets enough credit for as great of a player he is. He fields the ball well. He's just a great hitter too. He hits for power. He's got good average. He scores runs a little bit. He could be the best shortstop in baseball, and a lot of people don't even know who he is. That's how he's just a can. I mean, he's a beast. You got Fernando Tatis, and you got Trevor Story. Shortstop Carlos Correa, who's an American League All-Star. Tatis is the National League All-Star. Not sure if Trevor Story made the All-Star team, but he's a beast as well. And they're all going to be free agents, so they're all fighting. Javier Baez is another one. He's not in the All-Star, but all shortstops, they're all going to be paid hundreds of millions of dollars in this offseason. Mike Trout gets selected as a starter, but he's out with an injury, so he won't be playing the All-Star game. But he's arguably the best player in baseball. I dispute that with a few other people, but I'm a hater on Trout, I guess, sometimes.
So who do you think is going to win the home run derby?
I pay zero attention to the home run derby. If Vlad Guerrero Jr.'s in, I don't even know who the contestants are right now. I didn't see if they got. I think they were coming out today. But if Vlad Jr.'s in there, I would go with him. Kyle Schwarber, if he's in for the National League, he'd be a heavy favorite to go into it. I would love to see Nolan Arenado in it because he's an all-star for the St. Louis Cardinals, but he played his whole entire career in Colorado up until this year. So if he's in it, he would be my favorite just because, he knows the park and he'd have a lot of energy and going for it.
So tell everybody who is Shohei Ohtani.
Well, Shohei Ohtani, Japanese-born player, been in the major leagues now 3 years, sat out a season with a torn ACL, and he is doing some Ruthian-type stuff right now. He's actually the first player in Major League history to be voted in as a designated hitter to the All-Star game as well as a pitcher. So he'll have the opportunity to play in the All-Star game as a starting DH. So he'll be batting for, let's say, the starting pitcher, but then he can enter the game as a pitcher or even as an outfielder. He's played 5 games in the outfield this year. He played as an outfielder in Japan. So he's going to have an opportunity to really showcase his talents. And, why not the All-Star game? Now, there's one thing about the All-Star game, though, is because they're playing with a DH, there has to be an agreement or no agreement on how they're going to play with the designated hitter, because with the DH in the lineup, if Ohtani comes into pitch, the American League technically loses the DH for the game, which means the pitchers that are coming in the game have to then hit and they have to bat, and that doesn't let another player bat. So there was a time in 2002 when there was a tie in the All-Star game. It was, I think, 7-7. They went 11 innings. Bud Selig was the commissioner at the time. He stops the All-Star game. And then for a few years, they started playing where the All-Star game really, really mattered. It was like for home field advantage, for the World Series.
I think that's fun, though. That makes it fun.
Well, they changed that rule. They came to their senses and they said, this is an exhibition. We don't want to have the World Series. So the World Series is now, so the people who may still think that, the World Series is now determined by the team with the best record in the World Series, the team who wins the pennant. So Shohei Ohtani, he'll get to showcase his talents. The thing is, he definitely deserved to be an all-star as a hitter. I mean, he's got 31 home runs. He leads the league. He's got 67 RBIs. And 31 home runs ties Hideki Matsui as the most home runs by a Japanese-born player in MLB. So he's going to, barring injury, he will shatter that record with a half a season to go. But his opportunity to pitch and how they go with the rules on whether they're going to say, okay, we'll let you play the field, we'll let you pitch, but we're still going to keep the DH intact. We'll see how that comes out in the next week or so.
All right. So now we're going to move on to the NFL. We're going to talk about your man, Trevor Lawrence.
Well, listen, here's the deal with Trevor Lawrence. First time I seen Trevor Lawrence play, he was a senior in high school, about to be a senior in high school. He was going to the Elite 11 held by Trent Dilfer. And that's a great show, by the way. I love Trent Dilfer as an announcer, as a commentator. But he runs this camp called the Elite 11. So first time I see is Trevor Lawrence. He's tall, skinny, long blonde hair. He's from Georgia. And the other kid, I'm forgetting his name right now. The kid that played at Ohio State comes in. They're like the number 1 and number 2 kids in the country. Trevor Lawrence is like, he's number one. And he's the heavy favorite to win the Elite 11. And he actually loses. And what's this guy from what is his name? I cannot remember his name right now. He's going to be a top pick, Ohio State quarterback. Not Chad Fields.
I know who you're talking about. I can't get it out.
Yeah, I can't get it right now. But the kid from Ohio that ends up going to Ohio State actually went to Georgia.
Justin Fields.
Yeah, Justin Fields. Thank you. Justin Fields actually wins the Elite 11. Played phenomenal in Elite 11. It's all quarterback skills, throwing accuracy, play calling. There's some skull sessions, meaning they throw plays at you. You get an entire playbook. You have to recite plays, audibles, the whole nine. It's an NFL ran type camp. And Justin Fields ends up winning over Trevor Lawrence. So that's the first time I really became aware of them. But now Trevor Lawrence, the number 1 pick in the NFL draft by the Jacksonville Jaguars. He gets to sign, $36.8 million, and $24.1 million of it is his guaranteed signing bonus. So I say he can buy a few things with that kind of coin. Plus, I mean, he's probably got $100 million worth of endorsements. So whatever he wants, I'm sure he can get this at this time of year. So.
My question is, can he learn how to play on a team that's not as good? Right?
Well, here's the thing.
The window closes.
Literally was undefeated as like a pound ball quarterback. He goes as a high school freshman, right? The quarterback that was in front of him was the quarterback who won the state championship the year before. Trevor Lawrence comes in as a freshman, takes his spot, wins 4 state championships in high school without ever losing the game. Goes to college, wins another national championship. I think he lost like maybe 2 to 3 games in college at the most. I think he has 2 titles in college, right? And now you're going to go to Jacksonville Jaguars, which is a really, really bad team. So we'll see. He's going to lose more games probably his rookie year than he's lost in his entire life. But that's tough
for some kids. Like I knew a kid that never had lost a game, and when he lost and he got into a thing where he had a different culture, how can you move that culture? Because even everything you're talking about is Trevor Lawrence going into an already created winning culture.
Right.
How do you perform in a culture that isn't winning? It's easy to come in and feeling good when everybody feels good around you.
Listen,
You know, how do you change and be a leader in the culture when you got to be the change agent?
Right. Well, as I always say, you know, that's where you have the fair weather fans, fair weather teammates, fair weather family. When it's 85 and sunny, man, everybody's showing you love, right? Everybody loves 79 in a cool day, right? But it's when it's raining, you know, when the storm hits through the roof and all you got is a cup because the bucket's full and somebody's out there trying to take the water out the house. So when the storm is coming, you know, that's where you find out what you're really made of, because everybody can do well when things are going great. It's when things are not going so well. So we'll really get to see who he is, you know, from a character perspective, for sure.
Yeah. So tell me about that shirt. You got on this DaPHAB shirt. So this is one of the DaPHAB specials.
Oh, yeah, this is the Rich versus Poor Mindset. I'm actually getting ready to release this one out really soon. It's just a mentality that I have here with the company, you know, that I try to share with people. You know, entrepreneurialism, you know, just being an entrepreneur, going out there, you know, an entrepreneur fails and he gets back up and he's looking for the next challenge. You know, we're not going to fail and say, okay, this is it, you know. So you just have to be willing to, you know, continue to work. There's no, you don't punch a clock, right? You know, rich people, the difference between rich people and poor people is, you know, poor people work, rich people get other people to work. So come up with ideas. Rich people do a lot of thinking. So, you know, I'm really trying to focus on a strong mindset, you know, on what I have to do to be successful. And interesting enough, I had I don't know if it's a picture.
Before we go, where can we get that Rich versus Poor Mindset shirt?
Oh, listen, this is going to be available. I'm going to post it on Facebook. It'll be on my website, DaPHAB.com. So DaPHAB.com. So I'll make it available on my website, and it'll be on Facebook, Instagram. Those who have my number, you know, can contact me, 267-993-9835.
We're going to post that up next week.
Say that again.
We're going to post that number up.
You're going to post that number up? Yeah. It's all good. It's not a private number. It's a business number. So, you know, if you got that number, you call me on the business line. So
what's the last thing you want to leave people when you talk about sports?
To have fun, man. To enjoy it, man. Sports is supposed to be fun, right? I mean, it's an outlet from reality. You know, I've done sports in all kinds of avenues. I've been an athlete. You know, I've been a coach. I've done some training. You know, I've been in the stands as well, you know, and everyone has a role to play. Everyone has a role to play. Every athlete we talk about their journey to get to the, you know, we talked about Sha'Carri Richardson getting to the Olympics, right? And this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. But, you know, I always give credit. You know, one of the things I did when I was coaching, I always gave credits to like the siblings who came to support, grandma who made, you know, sandwiches, the moms, the team moms who gave waters to the coaches. You know, I never took any of that lightly. So I think the sports is a good way of, you know, bringing family together. And there's so much to come out of it. You know, there's so many life lessons that you're going to get out of sports.
And since you mentioned that, I'm going to leave with this, and we're going to close out, and I'm going to leave with this, right? I want to say this to you, and I never said it before, but I'm going to tell this to you, and it goes on to what you said. Everybody has a role. You were my teammate, my roommate, and my sparring partner in college. If I couldn't have done any of it if you weren't kicking my butt. I may have had a better record, but I didn't win every match at practice. And I could say you challenged me, and that's kind of what you're talking about. You know, like I had a destiny of where I was going, but I didn't get there without the support, the pushing, and the challenging by my friends, my roommates, my teammates. Like we had a joke. Whoever lost in practice had to carry the other person's bag.
I remember that, yeah.
Right? Some days I had to carry that daggone bag.
No doubt.
And more than people think, you know?
Yeah.
And that's the part of what we talk about. You know, like every team, every member isn't a superstar. Right, but they have those role players that help make everybody better. Steel sharpens steel, iron sharpens iron.
And I had sharp elbows.
Yeah, yes. And you and other people worked harder than some of us that challenged us. We had to step our game up. And you always came happy with the right attitude. And that's what you're talking about. Everybody plays a part. Everybody has a role. And you don't only talk it, you lived it. So that's what I want to say. So everybody, please remember, when you're going out with your team and you're a member of a sports team and you're playing sports, everybody's role is important, from the first man to the last man, to the mom, to the brother, to the coach, the assistant coach, coach's wife, the little sister. Everybody has an important role for everyone's success. God bless. We love you. DaPHAB Sports Talk. Hopefully this is my last week on DaPHAB. You know, we'll have his co-host rocking and rolling. Because sports isn't my thing. I do, but I just like to run my mouth. You know what I mean? So what's your last words, and I'll let you close it out.
My last word, I appreciate having the last words. We talk about striving to be better. This week, our frat brother, Chuck Garner, lost his mother, Dorothy Garner. She passed away. She's 91 years old. Rest in peace, Mrs. Gardner. But the one thing I got from going to her viewing was she demanded everyone to be better. She required everyone to be better. Her nephew goes to Yale. It's like, okay, you got the Yale, go get a 4.0. So that's one of the things that this week I'm fully energized, is I want to be the best version of myself. Just hearing great stories about a person and how many lives she impacted. Everyone who spoke, all they talked about was how she made you better and required you to be better. People who had masters, when are you getting your doctorate degree? You got your doctorate degree. What are you doing next? And continue to push and push and push and push. So rest in peace. And till next time.
Peace.